What up, what up, what up? It is Thursday, February 20th, exactly 30 days since President Trump assumed office for the second time. I'm here with one of his supporters, Rocky Jeter-Webb, who I met at inauguration last month. We had a conversation then, and he's back to do it again. Thank you, Rocky, for making time.
Thank you for having me.
So let me just tell you Trump's current approval rating, and then we can just dive right in. So as of yesterday, 49.1% of Americans approve of the job he's doing, and 48.5 disapprove of how he's handling the job. So that's almost an even split. How do you think Trump is doing so far these first 30 days?
Uh, Great question. Well, I actually read another poll saying that 70% of the people approve of the job that he's doing. Or sorry,
Was that
and I think
70% of Republicans, or did it say everyone?
it just said it said everyone. It didn't say a specific. It didn't say a specific group. It was just I think it was just referring to people in general. If I remember
Okay.
correctly.
The numbers I said were from ABC News's 538 polling. Where did you see 70?
It was on another. It was on a show that I was watching. It was on a news report that I was watching through the
Okay.
on the internet.
Okay.
On the internet. But I think the work is speaking for itself. I mean, this is what the American people voted for. I mean, because he, I mean, any two ways people look at it, he did win both the electoral college and the popular vote, which the first time a Republican presidential candidate has won the popular vote in 20 years in the 2024 presidential election. So this is what the people voted for. Like I said, any ways people look at it, this is what the American people voted for. And I heard that, of course, a lot of Republican voters did vote for him, and but I also did hear, I also have read and heard that he did get a lot of independent voters and even some Democrat voters that voted for him.
And you had been a Democrat for 5 years, supported Obama, and now on the red side of things, what pushed you away from the Democratic Party and pulled you into being a Trump supporter?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, about that. Okay. Well, I was a Democrat for 5 years from 2012 to 2017. I have no regrets about those 5 years because I learned a lot during those 5 years. Yeah, and I do support the president, but I wouldn't. But I would say I'm more so. I would say I'm more so of a. I would say I'm a Christian constitutionalist conservative first, and a Trump supporter second. That's what I would say. So Christian constitutionalist conservative first, and a Trump supporter second. So I had my awakening in January 2018. I started thinking, does my faith align with what I'm voting for? So, I started looking into things, started doing some research. My mentor introduced me to Prager University, and then from that point, I was introduced to Turning Point USA and conservative radio hosts and other things and many other platforms. It just opened a whole new world to me, and I realized why am I a Democrat? Everything I believe in, the Democratic Party is against.
Okay. Okay. And in these first 30 days of Trump's second um, presidency, he's made a lot of decisions, executive orders, new policies, rolling back of some policies. So much has happened. Is there anything that you really agree with specifically?
I just think that with what he did by bringing in Elon Musk and DOGE, finding all these millions, billions of dollars in wasteful spending, I think has really helped. And I would say, like rolling back the stuff that was done by the previous administration. Cutting the DEI, telling jobs and schools to cut the DEI or they will lose their funding. I really think that is going to help turn things around because I really think people should, schools and jobs, should be looking at people based on their merit and not their skin color. I mean, because it was Dr. Martin Luther King who said he wanted people to be judged by their character, not their skin color. And DEI is the complete opposite of that
Why do you think that's what diversity, equity, and inclusion is, just giving someone a job because of their skin color?
because like as you just said, it's more so about their skin color and not about merit. I mean, does it really matter if the air if you have let's just say if you were flying on a plane and everybody on the plane looks like you or doesn't. I mean, well, why does that make such a difference if everybody on the plane looks like you? If all
Okay.
the uh if all the flight crew looks like you, what difference does that make? I mean, as long as they can get you safely to your destination to and from there, it shouldn't matter what they look like.
Okay. Did you play sports by chance? Any sport?
Yes, I did track and field and cross country in high school.
Okay, so I was a track star myself. My race was the 400-meter race. And so let's say the two of us are going to run the 400-meter race together. And I start at the starting line and you start 200 meters ahead of me, right? Would you consider that a fair race?
No.
Okay. And I think the supporters of diversity, equity, and inclusion are saying that right now the starting point has been so different for different groups of people, and these policies help so that everyone's starting from the same place. Does that explanation make sense to you?
Yes, it makes sense to me, but I don't agree with it. I mean,
Okay.
that's just an excuse as to why they want to keep it because to me it's just a road towards it's just a more so a road towards communism. Because like
Okay.
I said, it should be about merit and not based on skin color. Okay, look, okay, like I don't care what race a person is. We are all Americans. We should all be equally, and we should all be, schools should be looking at people, and jobs should be looking at people based on their merits and their, I would say, their backgrounds and their resumes, not their skin color.
Okay.
Color.
Okay.
That's
You
I mean, like I said, like this stuff about DEI and CRT, and I've done my research on that too. Like it's just nonsense. It's a mess.
Okay. All right. And so you also mentioned cutting the deficit and trying to shrink the deficit and cutting spending and all of that. And something that Trump has done is lay off federal employees, which is not something he signaled that he was going to do during the campaign trail. So these layoffs is also something that you support.
Yes, I mean, because the government is already too big as it is right now. Right now, so in the way to and we're supposed to, if you're for small government, the only way to reduce it is by by cutting things. So if that's one of the steps that you have to take in order to get to that which I believe that it is then they're doing the right thing. I mean, you can't say you can't get in there and not change anything and think things are just going to get smaller as time goes by. You actually have to, get in there and get your hands dirty.
Okay, I can understand that. Is there anything President Trump has done these first 30 days that you do not agree with?
So far, no, I don't, nothing comes to mind. I think everything is going well.
You think everything is going well? Okay. And Rocky, go
There's
ahead.
one thing. Okay, I see people. I do my research. I see people talk online. Recently, the price of eggs had gone up, and people were saying
Yes.
I thought they were going to be I thought they were going to be reducing the price. Well, okay, he's been in there for about for a solid month now. He's trying to undo 4 years of damage. Okay, you're not going to get that done in just a month. The problem with people is some of these people out here is that they're too impatient. They think things are supposed to happen at the speed of light or just happen as soon as you snap your fingers. Like that's not okay. Like that's not how think work is done. That's not how this country is built. Okay, things take time. Okay, New York City wasn't built in a day.
I can attest to that. I recently went grocery shopping. The eggs I got were $14. My bill was $300, and it was not fun. And inflation in the economy is something that Trump ran on, and why many folks like yourself voted for him for what he planned to do to help out. And you're saying just give him more time so we start feeling some of that relief.
Yes, because like regardless of whatever it is, nothing happens at the speed of light. Again, New York City wasn't built in a day. Things take time. This country wasn't built overnight. It wasn't built in a day. It wasn't built in a week or a month or a year. It took time to build this country. Some of these people are too impatient.
Okay.
These people need to have patience and let the work be done. I
Okay.
mean, if you think you can do a better feel free to run for office. So,
Okay, at the top, I gave you the approval rating overall that Trump has right now. And a recent Pew Research broke it out by race, and the the drop off is significant to only 19% of Black adults who approve of Trump. Why do you think that stat is so much lower than the overall percentage?
I honestly think that is irrelevant. I mean, 'cause everything just boils down to skin color and it just becomes so racial. Like, I honestly think that's irrelevant. That's not important to the job that's being done.
It's not important that his approval rating is low among Black people.
I think that's irrelevant to the job that's being done.
Okay, all right. And most Black people didn't vote for him. And why did you?
I voted to help take. I voted to help for him to help take this country back, among a list of other reasons. Reasons I was to take to take this country back and to reduce the size of government. I mean, I would say those are my main reasons. I mean, I have a list of reasons, but those are my main reasons.
Okay. What else is on the list?
uh, of course, I support his policies. Of course, the immigrants. Okay, look, if you can't, okay, look, I'm all for immigrants coming to this country, but you got to do it the legal way. But you got to do it the legal way. If you came here illegally, you got to go. Us U.S. citizens, we can't leave the country without a passport. So why should illegal immigrants who don't want to come here legally would just be able to jump the border and just and come into this country and just be given everything on a silver platter more? Like, that's not how our country works. Okay, I'm all for people coming to our country, but you got to do it the legal way.
Okay. So immigration was a big issue for you. Okay. Got it. So it sounds like the honeymoon period is still on these first 30 days. What do you hope he does next in first 100 days or this first year?
Another thing I wanted to say about the border, it's just everything that we saw with the illegals coming in, the drugs and the people being raped and murdered. Like, that was, I think, for a lot of people who might have been undecided during the last year. I think that was the big wake up call for them, and unfortunately, some people lost their lives, but that was the wake up call that some people needed, and for them, some people, things finally clicked and I said, okay, I need to do what I need to do to help take this country back and get things under control.
Okay. All right. And to play devil's advocate, Trump has been criticized for some of his language around immigration. Folks have called him racist, all of these things. How do you defend Trump against some of that criticism?
I honestly think that it's stupid. Anytime somebody doesn't agree with they automatically just get slapped with the racist label, and I think that needs to stop. Stop.
Okay.
Like, these people need to actually do the research and look into what he is trying to fix, and then put judgment on it. A
Okay.
lot of people, I think a lot of people just jump to conclusions without doing a research first. That's a problem.
Okay, got it. And I think a big part of research is education, and Trump has signaled that he wants to dismantle the Department of Education. Book bans are making it hard to learn about different types of things. How can you preach research and education and then have support for someone who is taking all of that away?
Well, the Department of Education was created under President Jimmy Carter's and they created it to help better education. And since then, it has not done its job. I mean, before it was created, the U.S. was number one in education, and we have fallen to 24th. So it hasn't done its job. So when it finally dismantled, I'm going to be singing "Oh Happy Day."
So the answer to it not doing its job couldn't be more support, restructuring, more resources, or it just has to be take it away. That's what you think?
Uh, yes, it just needs to be completely dismantled. I mean, like I said, it's been around since President Jimmy Carter's term when it was created, and it has not done its
Okay.
job
And
with it.
nothing is salvageable. Okay.
No, I mean, you can only do something for so long before you realize it's not working out, and then maybe say, okay, we need to try a different formula. We need to go in a different direction. I mean, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over again and expecting a different result. They've
Sure.
been
Yeah.
doing, this Department of Education has been around for years and years, and it was created to help better education, and it hasn't done its job. So I think education will be better once it's dismantled. The power is back in the hands of the 50 individual states.
Okay. Fair enough. And you mentioned the power of the people. And right now we're in a very polarized time. Like I said, about half the country agrees with Trump, the other half disagrees. What is your unifying message, if you had to give one, for people coming together under this Trump administration?
Okay, okay, like I mean, regardless of whatever side you're on, you should do something about it. You should, okay, like if you, I mean, if you support this, keep fighting for this, and make it keep your focus on your elections, local, state, federal. Keep focused and do something about it. And if you don't agree with it again, do something about it. Don't just talk about it. Do something about it. I mean, I tell a lot of people all the time, if that's how you really feel about it, then do something about it. I mean, you can talk all you want till somebody's ears falls off it. So talking isn't going to change things. Okay, we didn't get things done in this country just by talking. Talking, we had to get out there and get our hands dirty. Frederick Douglass said, "I prayed on my knees for 20 years, but I received no answer till I answered with my legs."
Hmm. Okay. And what life experience has shaped how you see the world and the opinions that you've shared today?
I would say it was everything that happened during the years of COVID, when I saw, things, schools being closed down, churches being closed down, and saw what everything was really about. It was really about control and trying to instill fear into people. I mean, I stood up and said, "No, we're going to fight back." And as well as many other people involved in my city, and my county, and community did as well. I mean, we all came together and became activists to fight against this tyranny.
Okay. And what county in North Carolina is that?
New Hanover.
Manna?
New Hanover.
Oh, New Hanover. Sorry, I had a little trouble hearing you. Okay, great. So of course, Trump has the remaining days of his term, 4 years. But who do you want to see as president after that? Do you have your eye on a Republican yet who you think is going to run?
I haven't thought much about that yet, but am say if I had to choose somebody, I honestly think his Vice President JD Vance would be the best person for the job.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. And so is there anything
Do you
just in
think?
general? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think one of the reasons why Trump picked him for his vice president was to connect with the younger people, because JD, he and I are from the same generation. We're both millennials. He's just older than I am, but we're both millennials, and he's the first millennial to be vice president. He's one of the youngest vice presidents in our country's history. And I think the reason why Donald Trump chose him to be his vice president was to connect with, the young generation, millennials and Generation Z, and for the future generations to come, because this whole, from what I've seen personally, with this whole movement with conservatives, and with MAGA and the Republican Party, it's a young people's movement. They have, like, people under the age of 40 are getting involved, like locally. They're getting involved in politics at the local level. It is going up to state, federal. I know we've had, I think, a few millennials that have been in Congress. I remember Madison Cawthorn, he was there, and I think he's from, this one is from Texas. If I remember his name correctly, Brandon Jill. He just got in there. It's his first term, but yeah, this movement is, like I said, is the young people's movement.
Okay. And how would you describe the current conservatism movement and the MAGA movement at present?
Words aren't enough to describe it. Long story short, it's amazing. I mean, like I said, the people I've talked to and the stories I've heard are just incredible.
Okay. And what are your thoughts on the January 6th, 2021 riot at the Capitol?
Okay, like, I've spent so much time talking about that. I've retired that topic. I mean, because we're long past.
Okay. So just to clarify, do you see it as a riot or you see it as a misunderstanding?
Definitely a misunderstanding. And like I said, as far as, like I said, I've talked about it 1,000 times. That discussion is dead in the water. No offense to you, because you just asked.
None taken. You're right. I'm just a girl asking questions. Okay. And who do you believe lawfully won the 2020 election?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was about to say something else and I didn't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. Please complete your thought.
I was just going to say that discussion is long dead in the water. I mean, anybody. I honestly think anybody that is still talking about that is being a dead horse.
Mm, okay. Okay. And right in line with that, my question was, who do you believe lawfully won the 2020 presidential election?
I honestly, truly believe with my entire heart that Donald Trump won the 2020 presidential election. I know for sure that it was rigged and stolen from him.
And why do you think that?
But I talked to a lot of people involved in my communities. I've talked to people who said they received ballots for their dead relatives. Because I know people who said that they got ballots, voting ballots for their pets. I remember this one story I saw online. This lady said she got 3 voting ballots in the mail. She didn't ask for them; they just happened to come in the mail. How they got there, I don't know. But she said she got one for her, one for her husband, and one for Felix. But there's 2 problems. Felix is a cat, and Felix had died 12 years prior to the 2020 presidential election.
Okay. So Donald Trump contested the election results in legal 60 cases, I think, and none of them were successful. That doesn't convince you? That's not enough?
That's because a lot of the judges refuse to hear it. I mean, you can't really present a case if the judges refuse to hear it.
Okay. All right. I'm interested in this current MAGA movement. It seems to be going further and further to the right. How far do you think it'll go, and what are those goals once you get there?
Well, President Donald Trump started, and I believe he will. If JD Vance runs for president in 2028, he will pass the torch to him, and then JD Vance will pass the torch to whoever will come after him.
Got it. Okay. All right. Rocky, thank you. Is there any last remark that you want to give before I give you your time back and let you get some lunch, probably?
Yes, I would like to say hello to my fellow people of Wilmington and New Hanover County. Let's get out there and get ready for our city council election coming up this November. Remember the municipal elections as well as our county convention that's coming up on March 3rd. Get ready for that. We are electing county leadership, and to all the other people across the country involved in conservatism and the MAGA movement. Thank you and God bless you. Let's keep fighting. And I want to give a special shout out to my friend Catherine, who is the president of the UNCW Turning Point USA Club. So they are doing great things, as well as the college Republicans and the students for life. For life. So everybody across the country, let's keep fighting the fight is just starting. Okay, look, getting people elected is working itself, but the real job starts after our candidates get elected. So let's get in there, let's work, and let's get our hands dirty. MAGA.
All right. Thank you, Rocky. Have a great day.
Thank you, you too. Thank you for the having me.
Thank you for coming.